Yeah,
that'll do.
Sure. All right, hello.
Hi. So we're really behind on this one.
Yeah, but it's apparently you really want to get this one done.
It's more like I saw it like 2 weeks ago, and it's like I didn't sit through that for nothing.
I mean, you can still just enjoy a movie.
It's a good movie, but still,
You can still watch a movie for the sake of watching a movie.
I don't know what that feels like anymore.
Oh, that's sad. Get back to your roots, my friend.
I'm trying.
We'll just sit down and watch The Room again.
Oh God.
And then some Christopher Nolan movie, and maybe you'll remember.
For Cameron Saving Christmas.
No, that reminds you why you hate this thing. But
I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says.
All right, fine. We should do that Christmas viewing we've been talking about.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about it for years. Apparently it's on Hulu now.
Oh God. Ford v Ferrari.
Like the reason I want to talk about this because apparently it's like surprisingly popular.
It's
dads.
I have a bit to say about that. There's a lot of it's yeah. So it is. Bottom line, it's a good movie.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid.
It's a really good movie. Yeah. It does what it's trying to do. It's entertaining. It's funny. It has enough heart in it. The characters all work. It's wonderfully cast.
Christian Bale and Matt Damon, you know.
Yeah, the writing is great. Yeah. Christian Bale's character is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's Christian Bale. God bless the man.
It does a good job of making Christian Bale an absolute asshole, but at the same time, you still give a shit about him.
Yeah. It's really well shot. It's really well directed.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really well constructed movie. I can't really think of a problem with it as a movie necessarily. I would say the only thing I would necessarily have an issue with is how they portray the marketing head guy, that BB guy.
Yeah,
he's a little cartoonish.
That was one that was one of my negatives too.
Yeah,
because he was like, and it doesn't really give anything away. He's in the trailer. It's like that actor. Whenever you think of sleazy businessman, they just hire him. Yeah. I don't know his name, but every time I see him, I've never seen any role he's been in where he's not sleazy somehow.
Yeah. That's so. I mean, I hate to do this because I know that some people will be annoyed by it, but this is just gonna be my perspective and worldview coming in on the movie. And ruining it for me on certain levels.
Okay.
Because that's the issue I have, because it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's really a good movie. It's a well-made movie in every way. My problem is just the okay. So like from a modern liberal perspective, let's start with that. I think part of the reason that this movie has such widespread appeal right now is that it's very much a movie that is it appeals to, aside from being just a good movie in general, it also appeals to a certain mindset. And this is very much a good old American movie for good old American men.
Yeah.
It goes out of its way to mock business people. Yeah. And make them the villains. And this is basically a, you know, these guys are basically cowboys.
Basically, yeah. It's
really like a corporate cowboy kind of feeling, because you got Shelby and you got Miller, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or Miles. You got Shelby and you got Miles, and they're the guys who actually do the work. They're the guys who go out there and they're risking their asses driving and testing out the stuff and engineering it, and they have all the good ideas. And every step along the way, they have corporate bullshit thrown in their way. They want Miles to act a certain way, because, you know, it's good for the image of Ford. When he first meets the BB guy, he immediately tells him to his face, like, that's a shitty car, because they're launching the Mustang or something,
Yeah.
and BB was in charge of launching that, and he tells him why it's a shitty car and why we'd rather get a Ford Chevelle. He's very rude about it, sure. But that just gets a stick up this guy's ass against Miles. And so he spends the rest of the movie trying to undercut him at every turn. And even the CEO, Henry Ford II, is portrayed as just being this old man who has a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to, like, he basically wants them to do all the work for him to be able to look good.
Yeah.
And they take advantage of that to be able to get the money and control to make the car they want to do. And a lot of the best scenes in the movie do come from Shelby doing his, like, basically manipulating the situation to convince Ford to give him more control or money.
Yeah.
Those are some of the best moments in the movie.
Yeah, like the race sequence.
Sure, but I mean, even like
Or what?
even that one scene, I really liked that scene in the conference room where he goes and he sits down and he's like, "Why did we lose?" And he says, "Well." Yeah. So, and I thought that was clever, and well delivered. But again, the movie is definitely a movie. A lot of the scenes are written in a way that's over embellished.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a realistic way that people talk. It's cleverly written. And I take issue with, like, little moments in there which just feel weird. Just little things that they make sense kind of, but at the same time it's like, there's not a single person of color in this movie. And
Oh fuck.
yeah, at all.
Yeah.
The only real woman in this movie, aside from the secretaries, is his amazing, loving, beautiful, caring wife, who
does have some of the best scenes in the movie.
yes, she does. They do go out of the way to show that, like, she can handle him.
Yeah.
When no one else can, she will put him in his place.
Yeah.
And I do love that. I love their relationship. She does a great job. She is a fantastic character.
I mean, my favorite scene in the movie is like the scene in the garage when he's like listening to the race on the radio, and then she comes in like, nope, we're doing this now.
No, I also really like that scene where they're in the car and she's like, "Why are you lying to me?"
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
"What are you talking about?" And she basically just guns the car and freaks out the guy who tests race cars for a living. He's like, "Slow down, what the fuck?" That was also a really fun, interesting conversation. They did real well with that, but it has this very specific brand of, like, we're the mechanics, we're the cowboys, we're the blue collar class, and these fucking corporate elites, and they're these douchebags and these fucking Italians. They're not gonna get one up on us because they just don't know better than us. Oh, you put a computer in the car to calculate stuff? Oh, that's stupid. We're just gonna tear it out because fuck you guys and whatever. And they're right, but the movie makes it so they're right. And it's not that the movie's necessarily inaccurate, because apparently a bunch of the stuff in the movie is really, like, pulled straight from the history books. But like, I'm pretty sure that Henry Ford did not call Ferrari Enzo a greasy wop.
Probably not.
And the movie framed that as a fuck yeah moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's just a certain feel to the movie that, like, it colors it. It makes me feel uncomfortable about really liking it. I really liked it as a movie, but there's just the tone of it, the messaging of it just kind of,
I can see
irks
what you're
me in
saying.
a certain way that I'm not entirely comfortable with.
I can see that. And that's fair. I think for me personally, see, I was okay with the corporate people being portrayed as kind of just like lose, like it's like like kind of like just kind of losers have no clue what they're doing.
Sure.
Because for me, like I get what you're saying from like as far as like conservative and liberal mindsets tend to go, or like how that's framed that way, and I can absolutely see that viewpoint. For me, I'm also like, well, at the same time, if they try to frame it like Ford was like the good guys, I'd also have kind of an issue with that because like it's also like a massive corporation. It's like, how are we gonna like? Okay.
Oh no,
What? Oh, hello, spider. Okay.
Okay. That's done.
Anyway.
Proceed.
Because, like, I kind of issue, too, they try to frame, like, Ford is like, oh, this is just a well-meaning company who's using all these millions of dollars for a dick measuring contest. Whoa. So I kind of liked how it's framed from, like, a more people actually have things to lose kind of a mindset.
Yeah.
And, like, so I was okay with that framing. I get where you're coming from.
You gotta also remember at the very beginning they do make it a point to show that they're being kind of cutthroat when he goes to the factory and
that's true, but
shuts it down or whatever.
But still, what it really boils down to is it's really just two corporations having a dick measuring contest.
Yeah,
and like to me, it's like that was always gonna be like that was one of my concerns going into the movie was like, okay, well, how are you really gonna frame that? Because like I'm not gonna give a shit about like if Ford wins because ooh they won, they prove they have a better car, like with more money than I'll ever have. So I was like, that's another kind of going to the modern liberal mindset in that regard as well.
Yeah. Well,
so like I was again, I get what you're saying. Like it's definitely appealing towards like you just gotta like roll up your sleeves and get that old American gumshoe kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
But gumption, thank you. Gumshoe. That's very different.
Detective.
Genre. Yeah.
Gotta get those American detectives to work on those cars.
I think this is a car.
I detect.
Good deducing.
Something's wrong with the end. But that's one of the things about it. It does feel inconsistent and kind of cartoonish about it. It definitely has fun portraying the corporate heads as schmucks. Yeah. Like one of the things that frustrated me throughout the movie is the absolute inconsistency of Ford himself.
Or sometimes he's like you go do whatever you need to do, but like, but you're not like this.
Yeah, right. He'll be like, you have a blank check from me, sir, and then the next scene he'll give control of it to somebody else. Or he has there's so many scenes where he gets absolute trust in Shelby, and then
the very next scene
the very next scene he's flipped on that, and like that final thing with the finishing photo whole idea, like that just felt like, really?
Yeah, no, that bothered me too.
And I mean that might be actually what happened, but I feel like the movie should have done more to show, BB actually working to convince Ford of this stuff instead of just having a shitty idea and nervously standing around hoping that people would accept it. It just
no, I get I think that's a valid opinion. I think the whole like 3 car thing, I was like, that was like fucking really, like I know you need conflict to carry through the rest of the movie, but really that's what you're going with.
Yeah, it felt like a weird last minute twist to throw in the gears, and it was like,
and I get where they were going for as far as like character arcs with Christian Bale's character, with it like the whole learning to work as a team kind of thing, which wasn't really that emphasized throughout the movie anyway, so I didn't really feel like it. So I did kind of feel more shoehorned in.
I did appreciate that I didn't expect where the movie went at the very end. It did catch me off guard. I did appreciate that. I expected a full happy Hollywood victory ending, because I didn't know the history. I don't give a shit about cars. Like,
maybe we're the wrong person to go see this movie.
Well, actually, I should mention that too, because that was something I did appreciate about the movie, is that as someone who really doesn't care that much about cars, it definitely made me feel like I understood what was happening enough.
Yeah, that is very true. And like the way the construction scenes are framed, the way the racing scenes are framed, you're never at a loss for what's happening.
Yeah, it's very well constructed in that way, and you also you also feel kind of the thrill of the race.
Yeah, no, like the race scenes are really goddamn good.
Yeah.
Even the NASCAR race, which I've never given two fucking shits about.
Yeah. But that's just a testament to how well the movie is made. It is a really good movie.
And how good the director is. Like, this is a really good director.
Yeah.
Even say what you about the Wolverine. I like the Wolverine.
Oh, right. I forgot he also did the Wolverine. Well, but here's an interesting thing, though. Every one of his movies is basically about this.
Yeah.
He makes cowboy movies.
Yeah. I mean, work what you know.
I mean, he's good at it, clearly. Just this whole movie was kind of weird. I remember sitting through the whole movie. I'm like, this is 2.5 hours long. And I don't care about any of these things, but I am deeply compelled. Like, I'm enjoying this experience. I'm never gonna watch this again.
Well, it's because Matt Damon and Christian Bale are so good together.
Yeah,
and you're like invested in their journey.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You really do give a shit about these characters. You really care about Miles's son and his whole relationship with the Thing. They do bring a good heart to this movie. It's very well cast and well acted, and the leading roles, the roles that the movie is centered around, which is Shelby and Miles, are fantastic. The chemistry is fantastic,
and they know where to ground it in that regard.
Exactly.
Like, especially the scene, was Christian Bale Miles or was he Shelby?
Bale was Miles.
Okay. When Miles has that little scene with his son where he's explaining when they say
Perfect lap.
Perfect Lap and like all the chemistry. I don't give a shit about what he's saying, but he says it with such passion, and his son clearly cares, and it's a weird blind moment. So I'm invested in that more than what they're actually saying.
Yeah, no, it's really, even at the end where he's like, "You want to get some ice cream?" Like, that's good writing, because you don't need him to ask his son if he wants to go get ice cream at the end of that scene. That could just be it could just be him describing the perfect lap, and that would just be his focus and passing on that legacy and everything. But then there's just this really sweet little vulnerable cute moment at the end of it, and it grounds it, it humanizes it, and the performances feel so natural. They're so good. Yeah, it's just a really great movie. It's
See, like,
really
more we talk about things we liked about it, and we're like, okay, yeah, maybe we didn't give this movie enough credit.
No, I'm trying so hard to stress that this movie is really good. It's really good. You should go see it. If you don't give a fuck about any of those other things I mentioned, go see it. It's great. It's a great experience. It's well acted, it's well written, it's entertaining as hell, it's funny, it's emotional, it's gripping in the moments where it should be gripping.
Some of the framing devices can be a little divisive, I guess.
Yeah, there's just little tweaks about it that are just like,
which is I think that's fair.
And I mean, like, you know, if you really don't give a shit about a movie just being focused on a bunch of white guys with a bunch of fucking money playing with their expensive toys just for the sake of their pride to win a game, like, that's what this is about.
Basically, it's like, you ever play like slut cars as a kid?
Yeah, right.
The guy's like, it's like, you crashed my car. Nuh-uh, my car's just faster.
Yeah, right. It really is this whole thing where it is absolutely a story of, like, American indulgence in the name of pride to defeat the foreigners who are
Ferrari people. It's like,
trying to be better than us,
who are barely in this movie.
Yeah,
all like the fact they're in the title, and like they're like the big like lingering presence, like they're barely in the fucking movie.
It really is a movie about that. It really is masturbatory, dick measuring, I want to rub my balls all over this car kind of deal.
But it knows where to ground it, and that's why it still works. Despite itself in a weird way,
which is a feat in and of itself. It's really great, and that's just the thing that you have to be ready for. It is a 2.5 hour movie about that. But if you're along for that ride, then
it's interesting.
It's really good. In every way that it needs to be. And that's another thing is I was really interested to see how it covered the whole concept of Le Mans.
Yeah.
Because I still remember my first exposure to Le Mans was when I was a teenager, and I had my Dreamcast, and I was keeping up on all the Dreamcast games, and they released Test Drive Le Mans. And that was a very interestingly divisive experience because, you know, it's
Did you
a
have to play
racing
for
game.
24 hours?
Well, it had the option.
Really?
That's what made it cool because most reviewers that reviewed the game just played the game like a normal game. It was a game completely focused on Le Mans. And you could play a sped up version of it where they sped up all the different factors of it, or you could actually play a 24-hour session of the Le Mans race.
Jesus
and
Christ.
that included weather that affected how the cars handled. Your tires wore down, your brakes wore down, your gas went down. Like, it actually had all of these different factors that make Le Mans such an interesting race put into the game. And I still remember reading the review by the reviewer. Like, everyone gave it like, oh, it's a 7 out of 10 or something. But the reviewer that played the 24-hour race went into detail about it, was like, this is a 9 out of 10. There's nothing I've seen like this before. And I found that really compelling, and that got me interested in the whole concept of Le Mans. And I really did. That was a cool little callback for me to watch this movie, talk about those things, and have that not be an abstract anymore. Have that be something that's really just in the movie as things that they're trying to address. You know, a car that has to last pushing to the limit on a sports racing level for a full 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that was just, it was an interesting component of the movie that I didn't really consider going into it. I didn't enjoy that a lot.
See, I knew nothing about Le Mans going into this movie, so I was like, "That's a thing." It's like, "Oh shit, that's a thing."
No, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts.
What we do for sports, I guess.
Sure. But yeah,
like like overall, it's good, and apparently it's connecting with a lot of white collar people.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's gonna have a lot of appeal with.
Like
it's the kind of movie that will be popular both with, you know, the Hollywood types and the conservative Midwest types who don't normally go see a movie.
Yeah.
Because this is a movie about good old boys sticking it to the fucking corporate elites. Which has its own appeal to both sides.
I know. It's like one thing we all kind of agree on.
It will definitely appeal to people who still don't think of Italian people are white. I'll tell you that.
Not touching that. Laura's Italian. I'm not touching that.
So yeah.
But I was gonna say something. I lost a train of thought there. Like I remember. It's like I felt like this movie came out like 20 years ago. This would have been like the movie my dad would watch like on TV and somehow find the exact same scene to watch over and over and over again. Because he did that with like all the white collar movies. I only watched Predator from beginning to end once, but I've seen the ending of Predator 25 times. I have never seen Apollo 13 all the way through one time, but I've seen the part where they make that weird little urine case like 20 times. I don't know how he did it. Every time it was on TV, he found the exact same moment to watch over and over again.
Well,
and I feel like if this movie came around that time, this would be the exact same goddamn thing.
There you go.
This movie I can watch with my dad and be like, okay, we can actually agree on something.
Cool.
Which is like very, very rare.
Which scene do you think he would stick on this movie?
It would definitely be either the NASCAR race part or anything of the races, really. I think.
Well, I mean, the race is a good like last half hour of the movie.
Yeah, the NASCAR scene in particular, because he doesn't watch NASCAR and I don't get it.
Well, do you now?
A
little more.
Not
much though.
Still have no interest in sitting down to actually watch it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're turning left.
Oh, they're turning left again.
Oh,
boy, the thrill. Oh, that one's edging past that one.
It's like,
a crash! Is he okay? Oh, he's dead. Well, at least it was exciting. That's like, it's. I don't know.
Basically, honestly feels like NASCAR in a nutshell.
No, what was it Robin Williams said? He was like, saying you watch boxing for the sport is like saying you watch NASCAR to watch NASCAR to watch people take left turns all day. Like, it's. Oh, man.
That and golf. Golf is another I don't understand.
Golf is not about the golf. Golf is about riding around a giant lawn and standing for a while.
It's like I was not a Robin Williams sketch. It's like, get like people who announce soccer to announce this. Yeah, golf games.
Yeah, right.
It's going go, and go! birdie, putt off the 5
But yeah, yeah, Ford v Ferrari.
Yep.
Good movie.
Good.
Uh,
Glad we finally caught up on it.
some issues, but you know, overall,
pretty solid. Yeah.
very, very recommendable. You won't have a bad time.
Yeah. So we're still in catch-up mode a little bit right now. So I still want to talk about not Won't You Mean It, Baby. That's the documentary. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah, I still want to see it. I still need to see it. I just want to see it in the theater since the sound isn't fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm
no,
not
that's
distracted. If I've only got sound, like if 80% of the sound is only coming from the left side, I cannot sit in your theater. I'm sorry. That's gonna bug the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, anyone
was here.
Anyone
It was here.
See, anyone who's watched my channel before knows that I like Mr. Rogers is a personal hero of mine.
Yeah.
So it's a case of like I was very personally invested in watching it.
I do
I have
want to
some
watch
thoughts. I have some thoughts. I'm not gonna say anything now. We'll talk about when you get around to watching it.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I think it's like Queen and Slim. This is like the last like slow week before like things pick up back up again.
Yeah, I do want to see Queen and Slim too.
So-
well, we don't want to see Good Liar or Dark Waters.
Is Good Liar even still playing?
Yeah, some places, I guess.
I
I don't know. I do want to see Dark Waters though.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the Mark Ruffalo movie.
Oh, right.
Jesus,
Okay.
that was a loud realization.
It's been a long week, man.
It's fine, man. Anyway,
So we'll catch up on those stuff when we can. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.